Uh, Most of the time,
Sorry,
business.
can you say those three roles again one more time?
Sure,
Those
sure,
three
definitely.
roles that you were talking.
Yeah, a data analyst. We are working on data analyst. Then okay, 8 minutes. There's a volume challenge at my atmosphere. Yeah. So predominantly one is a data analyst as we are working on that. Second is basically business analyst. It's quite parallel to data analyst, and we'll also spend some time after these sessions so that we can understand business analyst as well. But business intelligence overlaps on all these roles basically. Um, Business intelligence, if you can crack the interview, you could be at a really sweet spot because the salary range for business analyst are a bit more than data analyst or um, uh, business analyst. Means 15-20% more normally. What business intelligence guys do, they build intelligence. Okay. There's no additional stuff as such in terms of analysis and showing result, but this is more of the evolution of art, as we can say in business intelligence. And business intelligence normally report to directly CXO and those type of roles. So the visibility within that organization is really good in terms of business intelligence. That's why I include this thing in our data analyst class. Now here we need to understand today like how this business intelligence we can acquire that skill, right? We are doing data analyst, we're doing business analyst, but the business intelligence a bit step further, I'll say. And it's more of trying to be like a senior analyst or trying to understand the business we are in and build intelligence on basis of the data, the requirements, or the business situations we are in currently, and try to what you can say take it out to a next level. Try to increase profit, reduce cost, and these are normal standard business goals we are talking about. Even to improve sales and all. So business intelligence are more helping the CXO level people from the data we gather from the overall analysis we do at the current business situation. So if there are particular region which is lagging in terms of sales for a particular product, how to work on that. So you might visit that region, try to gather the data, try to analyze the data, even try to meet the business owners there or the dealers there, and try to understand what are the challenges they are facing. So there could be some typical challenges for a given region, and then you'll try to overcome those challenges. Might be something like product is not that perishable in such hot climate or cold climate and something like that sort. So we might address some cold storage or some what you can say insulation for that product and so on and so forth. Again, I'm just sharing these what you can say examples come to my mind right now, but we might improve ourselves in terms of depending upon the actual product, actual scenario, and all those things, and we'll discuss that thing. Okay, so we're going to start business intelligence or understanding of business intelligence. And what I really I'll repeat these things. Please add business intelligence, business analyst, and data analyst to your profile, and then we'll basically try to understand how many tools we can add to this whole list of tools you can work with. Okay, and this includes a good number of tools in terms of starting with Excel, starting with Google Sheets. We're going to practice on these things. Then there's something called SQL. In terms of SQL query, we're going to learn SQL queries also. Power BI, we're going to have a couple of sessions on Power BI and a couple of others softwares also. This is the kind of know-how. In terms of overall analysis, you might say I'm working with Microsoft Excel extensively. I'm working with Google Sheet extensively, and then the rest of tools I have a good know-how of. Even in business analyst, there are around 15, 16 all tools which we need to go through in terms of something like mind map, something like prioritizing requirements with some tool, and then those things as well. So that will help you overall to build up your resume in overall analytical positions which are available across what your region you are targeting to, and then we'll basically work on the domain in a particular for a given particular skill set, and that will understand how some specific tools could help us in basically mastering that domain. Okay, so let's start with business intelligence. So business intelligence is a multi-faced approach that combines technology, process, methodology, to analyze and present business data. So it's a simple thing. It's mostly analysis. You're presenting data as we discussed in data analyst as well, or a business analyst as well. And then ultimately enabling informed decision making. That's the addition here. So informed decision making in the sense you're working with the top bosses and trying to help their decision. Rather, you walk through the decision. You walk them through the decision, saying, okay, if you do this, this will happen. So it's like kind of a step further from analysis. I did my analysis. I understood the ground realities, and now I'm giving you some solution. Okay, now it's a step, just a short steps towards data analysts, towards data scientists. Data scientists also do these things like informed decision making, and they build continuous solutions in terms of one solution made. So next time similar problems happens, the solution can take care of that, or we might tweak or customize that solution for the given challenge. Okay, but here we are, basically rather than doing any programming, what we are trying to do, we are trying to suggest the decision making, or we are making the decision or given them an options like this is the situation and these might the options we have, and as an analyst I believe this is the best decision, and so on and so forth. So here we are enabling them for the informed decision making as well. I think we can include this thing in data analyst or business analyst as well, but still, they specifically keep it for business intelligence because that's what they call intelligence is all about in terms of business. Intelligence is reacting to the situation. Are you with me?
Yep.
Yeah. So reacting to the situation in the best, informed decision or best decision after doing extensive analysis is what we are talking about here in terms of enabling informed decision making. It transforms raw data into insight, helping organizations to identify trend. So we have trend analysis, solve problem. We are trying to give them the options. Like for this situation, these are the options you can adopt and all these things, and optimize the performance. Optimizing performance have a couple of what you can say processes in that. Predominantly cost cutting. Every business has some cost cutting reviews throughout the interview. If you really look at from the owner's perspectives or the top management perspectives, then we have efficiency increase in terms of employees working for a given business. So be it analyst, be it data collection, be it administrator, be it a salespeople, we try to optimize the performance in terms of utilizing the workforce in the best efficient way. So that's the kind of optimizing performance we talk about. So here, when you read business intelligence, you can just define it as an analyst plus enabling informed decision making, as simple as that. And that's how you can basically tell them what is business intelligence all about. Okay, and as I told you, once we'll have a workshop on these also, as well. So no challenge there. How we can get it to a level of informed decision, right? So we'll have a look at that as well practically. But right now, I believe you get an idea what we are talking about here, right? Enabling informed business decision making.
Yeah, I get it. Yes, I've used Power BI actually, so
Huh.
I understand yeah, a little bit. Yeah.
Okay, great, great. So how do you do it, ma'am? Means what are the things you have taken to basically reach to that decision making process, if I may ask?
Um, basically, what I've not done anything that requires decision making, but something like if there's a schema, in the Power BI, then just translating it. Like, for example, if there's a flow chart, then trying to understand the joins and how the connectors work, what they actually do, and what's the purpose. Like, if one table is connected to the other, how does it give you the overall information. So something like that. Yeah.
Okay, no problem. Great. So this overall in terms of Sahil sir, do you want to express your understanding of business intelligence, sir?
In business and intelligence is just like we can say that according to Power BI, if we're gonna use the Power BI, first of all we have to be make the proper data
Mhm,
before doing anything. First we get the data when we have to filter it according to our requirements,
mhm. So you're talking about
right?
the steps of analysis. retrieving the
Yep.
data, cleaning the data.
Because if we have to be gave something like making decision making result, so first of all we have to do every single thing. What we have to check every region and everything
Okay.
that what we are lacking for, where the sale is down and why it's down, and after that we are able to give them the decision what we have to do for regarding that one.
Perfect, perfect. Great, great. So I believe you got a good idea and will basically improve our thought process with this presentation ahead. Okay. So key aspects of business intelligence. Like we seen 5 step in data analysis. Let's try to understand how does it constitute a business analysis or business intelligence process, right? So we have data collection and aggregation. So here we are talking about data retrieval in analysis. Here we talk about a similar thing, data collection and aggregation. BI system gather data from various sources, both internal and external, and aggregate it to a centralized repository. So we are talking about unifying a database, or rather having multiple Excel sheet we are working together, and to get a uniform, you might say pivot table or resultant data summary to take good decisions. Here they say often data warehouse. Data warehouse is basically as we normally see in warehouses, right? In warehouses we store all these things which are not going to shipped out or not going to going out in anywhere. So it's a kind of storage facility, right? Here we are talking about database where we store data and which is normally a secure place to store data. So we have data backup, recover, and all those securities in place, and that's how we normally call it data warehouse. We'll basically see the definition of data warehouse in terms of theoretical definition, but to understand right now, warehouse is a place where we store something. So here we store data with safe and secure processes in place. Data analysis. BI tools use various techniques.
1 second, sir, before you continue, can you give me some examples where, like maybe a software or a tool where it's collected? Like where is it stored?
Okay, sure, no problem. Physically, there are means today the volume of data and the way data is getting generated. Be it something like social media, be it something like movie database or sitcom database. These databases are stored in some place called data center. You might have heard of it. Data centers.
Yes, yes, yes,
So data
yes.
center, let's say in St. Louis, outskirts of St. Louis, there's a big facility. Believe me, big in the sense, I think around 100 acres or so. So they have these big storage, medias. They call it mass storage, and there are good computers in terms of efficiently aligned for this mass storage, access, storage, delete, modify. That all CURD operation, right? Create, modify, create, update. You R is for read, and D is for delete. So all these CURD operation, we have these efficient computer attached to the mass storages. Mass storage, we are normally talking about petabyte or terabytes of data. And all these data normally stored there. Means there could be some contract of 2-3 banks to store data in a given data centers. Now, how they define this data warehouse is basically an island on that physical computer for, let's say, given to the Bank of Commerce, given to the Bank of America, where they store the data. Why they need so many data center? Because once a St. Louis users want to access data, okay, the nearest point is that data center. So that will be more efficient. If some New York guy want to access some data, so there will be a center in New Jersey or somewhere nearby. Mostly the way they shared or they made these warehouses so that everything could be delivered to the user as efficiently as possible. Even if you know Amazon, right? When you book an order on Amazon, sometimes that order can reach you within some hours. Sometimes it took some days, right? This is because the storage of that entity, storage of that item you ordered, if it's nearby you, it'll reach in the most earliest possible time. But if it's let's say if you're ordering from Houston and if the storage is in California, it might take a day or two. Okay, and this is how even Amazon uses the warehouse or what you can say delivery planning, because these deliveries has to be taken from the warehouse, give it to the courier company, give it to the shipping agent, and then it'll come to your doorstep. This is how it happens. Similarly, in the world of data as well, the user's load are normally attached to the nearest possible data warehouse owned by that company. So, Bank of America, Bank of Commerce, they have their part of that uh, number of physical computer, number of physical storage they have in the, let's say, St. Louis data center or New Jersey data center. They have an access to the nearest, they have the efficient access for the nearest possible users among that region. Data won't take too much time if it's New Jersey or St. Louis, but still, when it comes to peak time, right? Peak time in the sense the morning 9 to 11 is peak time in North America. Okay, and this peak time has to serve efficiently. At that time, they need the maximum computing power to ship this data within milliseconds, nanoseconds, and so on and so forth. That's why they have so many data warehouse or so many data centers, you might say normally, to serve these what you can say, nearby users, so that it'll come to them efficiently rather than traveling the data from one region to another. You got an idea, ma'am? Hello, does that answer your question, madam? Am I audible?
Yes, you're audible.
Madam might have stepped up or something.
Yes. Can you hear me? Hello?
Yeah.
Yes, I heard what you said. Yes,
Okay.
I understood it.
Got a point, right?
Thank
Does it
you.
answer your question?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes,
great.
it does. Yes.
So
Thank you.
that's how they normally plan these data warehouse or data storage. In the simplest term, they call it warehouse because it serves a function, right? In terms of storage, retrieval, and efficient security measures as well. Like you might have heard of, you can really compare with something like Amazon warehouse, and you might have something ordered on Amazon or any other online retailer, but sometime it comes to you in hours, sometime it takes days to come to your place. This is because the availability of those entities in the nearest possible warehouse, nearest possible this thing. In terms of online businesses, the earliest is the better. The efficiency matters a lot, because if Amazon page taking, let's say, 1 minute to open up, the user might go to their competitors saying, okay, this is really so. I might go to Flipkart and get the things earliest delivered to me, or the pages are coming faster in Flipkart. So it's more efficient site. It's more better retailer than Amazon. Could you understand this example as well, ma'am?
Yes, I understood.
So this is how these normally, what you can say, data collection retrieval helps in the efficient way of working of the database. Okay, so data analysis.
Okay.
Use various techniques like data mining. Data mining is basically that efficient mechanism of searching the data in terms of the nearest possible computer. Data can be replicated, right? I can replicate the data throughout North America within matter of minutes nowadays, because of we have those optical fibers and very high speed internet and all. But still, these minutes count. Then because whenever you want to serve user, it should be in nanosecond, millisecond, and so on and so forth. So for that, you have to have these data even replicated at multiple places with a site something like Amazon, YouTube, and all those things. Even nowadays, Gmail have around, I think, 18 odd different, actually the ABC, the parent company, have so many data center across North America to serve the regional, users efficiently. And even if, let's say, Ravindra Pande moves from St. Louis to New York, his data has to be, shifted to that data center, and so that we can serve him efficiently. If he's staying there for a couple of days, that's okay. He might, even if his data takes, let's say, a minute or two, he might, be with you. But if it's happening too often, we might lose that user to a competitor. So that's why we need to really understand how we can serve effectively, efficiently for all those, data retrieval, data mining, and all these type of, data collection methodologies. Okay, that's what the data mining normally talks about. Then we have statistical analysis. Statistical analysis normally analyze the data in a particular mathematical way. Statistics is a branch of maths where we have a predefined functions, formulas applied to a given data, so that normally it's a combination of couple of databases we are working with in terms of finding out, let's say, sampling, sorting, mean value, average value, and so on, so forth. These are statistical functions. These are normal or a simple statistical function, but the complexity increases if you are basically building a long-term solution on a given data for multiple iteration of these statistical formulas on a given data or combined data for that matter. So that's why the statistical analysis, and we'll learn this thing in couple of slides now, where we apply some standard formulas to a given number of selected databases to give a result, a mathematical result outcome. It might be something like a progressive trend. It might be something like a progressive decrease of a cells in a particular region, and so on so forth. Okay, then we have predictive analytics. Statistical analysis is what we have in my hand. Predictive is how it will affect my future. So if somebody have, let's say, uh, a fever, right? And we have so many viral fever for a given seasons, be it a cold, be it a hot, be it a rainy season, and so on and so forth. In those scenario, there are normally a common medicine given to these patients. Why they give these common medicines? Because a predictive analytics works in a healthcare field quite effectively. So if you go to doctor, where you might have a number of repetitive viral patient for, let's say, cold and cough. So what doctor will do, even if you don't have cold and cough right now, because of your immune powers are a bit on a lesser side, he might add those medicines to your list as well. So that due to your immune deficiency, you might not caught the cold and cough as well. So that whatever challenges you have in terms of your health right now shouldn't be multiplied, shouldn't be complicated with those additional changes also. And this is how the predictive analysis works in healthcare. In terms of, let's say, logistical thing. If I want to ship something which is there in, let's say, Nevada data center for that, Nevada data center, and those, couple of teams shifted to, let's say,
Cannot
Canada.
hear you. Hello?
Okay, let me, switch
Hello.
video. I think.
Sahil, can you hear? I think
Yep.
Could you hear
Um,
now? Hello? Could you hear
yes,
no,
sir.
we couldn't hear. Sir, you just got disconnected.
me? Oh, man. Give me a minute.
No, now your voice is coming. The
Uh,
screen is also work.
okay, I think I'm on, means I can, yeah, my voice is coming. I can see that, mic thing, it shows you those, uh,
Yeah,
yeah.
your voice is coming. Your video is gone, but we can see the screen.
You can see the, no, I have switched off my camera because sometimes now, if you have data challenges, if you switched off the video streaming, it helps.
Okay.
And
Yeah,
this,
we can
uh,
easily.
you can see the presentation, right? I have switched off the
Yes,
video. Okay.
yes, yes, yes.
Madam, can you hear me? Hello, Varuna ma'am. Can you hear?
Yes, I can. Yes, I can hear you.
Sure.
Yeah.
Correct. So where were we? We were trying to understand. Okay, the predictive analysis. Now, the simplest example to give in predictive analysis is basically the shipment or efficient shipment way. If you know a courier, like there are a number of couriers in North America, wherever you choose the most efficient courier and the most economical courier also. And whenever you're shipping something from, let's say, across North America, the example which I am giving from, let's say, Nevada storage facility to Connecticut, something in Stanford or Hartford or whatever, Connecticut, which takes almost a day or two. But if I know some courier which have certain, like say shuttle service from Nevada place to connect, any city in Connecticut. So what I'll do, I'll combine that thing with that, airplane shuttle service so that delivery could be done within hours rather than within days. Okay, how do I do it? I'll try to study the overall, the way the shipment is moving from point A to point B, and what are the other alternatives, available or new alternatives available so that I can ship my product efficiently. Okay, and this is why it's called predictive, because we are predicting the efficiencies. We are trying to improve the efficiencies in this process so that our users will be satisfied, or rather more users can basically start availing your services, the business throughput increases, and so on and so forth. Okay, so this is what the predictive analysis is. We study the history and we predict the future. It's not a fortune telling, but this is more of a mathematical predictions. And there we'll understand why we should choose this courier in terms of a courier efficiency thing. Why we should give the additional medicine to a given challenging health scenario persons, because we have to control even the prediction or the futures in terms of their health challenges, not to get more complicated day by day. Have you got an idea of this predictive analysis thing?
Yes.
Okay.
I have a question in this.
Yeah.
They does not ask about the molecules, right?
Come again, sorry.
They will not tell us to do the, like we can say that regarding the molecules, that which molecule is right now trending or something like that.
Molecules, I couldn't get you. You're talking about some chemical
No, molecules, the medicine molecules, as you mentioned it, they will told us to do the for prescriptive, like a prescriptive one you are saying. So I'm asking for that one. If we are going to do a data analysis on that time, they could maybe they will ask about the molecules, regarding molecules too, that you have to be analyze regarding the molecules, which molecule they are using, most of the companies using which molecule they are using, like this.
I will be open to the very detailed analysis of I think might be result of a medicine or something like that. More of
Yeah.
pharmaceutical way. Am I right, sir?
Yep, yep, yep.
Okay, so you might get data in numbers rather than trying to study or trying to understand how the molecule works or the size of the molecule and the reactiveness of the molecule. But you'll get the data, and the data will say this molecule is reacting this many percent time, or this many heats will result in these many results. So you'll get some type of a mathematical data with you rather than
So they were regarding us the regarding that one, because I know about the molecules. That's why I'm asking, because sometimes I hear they ask about the molecules, right? You have to be see the molecules and the numbers of the result, right? How many times they tried and how many patients they tried and what is the outcome comes from it. I don't think so. They will ask this kind of question. I'm just asking from my knowledge that probably they will ask this kind of questions or no.
No, no. In the interview, no, they don't go to the domain theoretical knowledge, because okay, if you're joining some healthcare professional or some pharmaceutical company for that matters, they'll have a
Mhm.
specific training. They'll basically make you understand what type of medicines they in terms of pharmaceutical organizations they'll study. These are the 6 or 7 medicines department you're going to work on, and these medicines work on, let's say, influenza, flu, viral fever,
Yeah.
weight gain,
Uh,
weight loss, and so on and so forth. So here they'll make you understand the progression of medicines reactions in numbers rather than trying to make any clinical analyst out of you. See, clinical analysts are the people, they support doctor in terms of informed decisions, which medicine to suggest for a given area. And believe me, in every
yeah.
hospital they'll have a
That's why I'm asking from you, because I think
back.
in the interviewer they're gonna see our resume, right? As you know, my background is like a pharmacy one, so that's why I'm just curious. Maybe they're gonna ask this kind of question, so I'll be prepared for that one. So that's why I'm asking for this.
Yeah, yeah, and I can really respect your question, and that's quite understandable. But the way I see it, most of the time they will understand your thought process, how do you
Mm-hmm.
will react. So even if you tell them like these clinical analysts, they give us the number or results, and then we'll incorporate those results in my database, and then do some statistical analysis, and try to build some predictive analytics as you're suggesting right now. But sir, we normally work in numbers. We normally work in the prepared validated data. We also validate the data for our research purpose, but most probably I might need to take some detailed understanding of how your process is working in the scenario if it's coming, if it's happening to happen. And I'm open to take clinical analysis, understanding as well. I'll repeat again. I'm open to understand the clinical analytical process to incorporate in my data analytical process. Does that make sense, sir?
Yep.
So what we are
I
trying
got
to
my
do is
answer.
trying to comfort the interviewer, saying, "Ki, boss, I'm open for learning, and I might
Mm.
walk a step or two if this is a repetitive things in your type of work." So we are basically trying to align ourselves for a given job, as simple as that. But in terms of if somebody asks you, and there are fewer chances in interviews throwing such difficult questions to you. Difficult in the sense they know you're a data analyst, you're a business analyst, you're business intelligent people. So do you know the domain knowledge? Again, domain knowledge is we acquire throughout our life. Believe me. I mean, even Bill Gates today, even if he's not working in the sales, still he try to understand how the sales process are changing in the social media world, or how you utilize social media world for the change of processes in sales and all those things, right? So this is how the life gets what you can say enriched day by day. So the more you have experience, the more domain knowledge you have. The technical knowledge might limit to a couple of tools, couple of usages of those tools, but in the long run, you gain that domain. How I can explain you the clinical analytical process? I was not I'm not from a medical field, but I've heard, right? We work with some hospital client for their IT systems and so on and so forth. So we get to know these, roles they have within their hierarchy. And that's how I'm telling you about the clinical analyst. They have clinical analysts, believe me, because sometimes doctor might validate his or her decision with this clinical analytical team. He's saying, "Hey, team lead, clinical analytical team, could you please, suggest if these medicines are fine at the current scenario? Because these guys don't have, cold and cough, but still I'm suggesting these light cold and cough medicines to him or her so that it will not complicate the matter. Specifically, elderly people, right? They have these medicines given to them by old age home whenever there are some chances of flu, chances of cold coming your way, cough coming your way, and so on and so forth. Because most of the time these are airborne diseases, or they get what you can say, they get how do you say, they get to you through airs. So those bacteria
Get
or
your point that while they are doing the analytics stuff for the like research one, after that they are able to give any kind of medicine to the patients. So before that they're not able to do that. So I can understand your point, what you're trying to say for this one.
thank you, thank you. I'm falling short of word, I believe. I don't know why, but yeah, this
No,
is
no, I totally understand that because we are going to introduce any kind of molecule before that we have to study. So we always study. So that's why I know about it. So just
great. Thank you, thank you. Ma'am, you were asking something. Please go ahead. Madam,
ma'am, are you there?
she might have stepped
No,
away.
no, I wasn't asking anything. I'm just listening.
Okay, okay, no problem. Sure. So, so we got understanding of predictive analysis to uncover patterns. Again, these are the patterns for a given region. There could be some flu, there could be some, cold and cough medicines to be predictively distributed, like in COVID, right? All those shots, the COVID shots are preventive cares. Okay, the reactive care is totally different. Specifically, we have, I think, understood in COVID, trends how this preventive care can be applied to a mass people in terms of COVID, in terms of cholera, and all those such diseases. So these are basically patterns and trends and anomalies within the data. Now we are trying to understand this by actual example. Okay, but if you're really effective analyst, you can do by we can do this thing by just having or observing that data by analyzing the given data to you. Okay, are you with me? Could you understand what I'm trying to say here?
Yes,
Yes.
yes.
No problem. So that's it. Data visualization. Again, we are trying to build these good dashboards, charts, graphs, visual representation to make data insight easily understandable and shareable. Like we have a good look at how do we make the chart, how we basically build these, pie charts, or trend charts for that matter. Trend charts, I believe, will have another, what you can say, um, workshop for that as well whenever we do our hands-on workshop, where we'll try to understand how these trend charts are plotted. So it's like, you have one figure, two figure, three figure, five figures with you. You can plot next two figures with the extension of those things. Okay, like it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then I'll have 6 and 7 after that. It's as simple as that. The Excel can do it for you, and there are other mathematical functions as well, so that we can extend the progression. And that's what the trend is all about. Extend the historical figure to some future dates or months. To some, in the sense, if you have a data of 8 days, you can extend it to the next 2 days. You can't do, you have 8 and you are doing 8. Could you understand the steps?
Yep.
If you have 8 years data, you can extend it to 2 years at the
Yeah.
max. You can't do next 8 years. Okay, because that's how the trends are normally, analysis of trend is acceptable in terms of mathematical growth. Because the more you go in the future, you are going into the fortune telling business rather than using any statistical formulas or mathematical trend understanding. And that's how it differs from the fortune telling to trend analysis. Because there are interviews where they have asked you, what's the difference between fortune telling and trend analysis? Please prepare your answer. There are fewer, interviews like that. But as an analysis, trend analysis is a scientific or statistical mathematical, process. Fortune telling is basically fortune telling. You can, explain in your own word. I don't want to disrespect any fortune teller here, but they mostly, they say they use, mathematical formula, but you can't have the trend. If you have 8 step, you can't go to the next 8 step in terms of trend analysis. You normally go up to 20, at the max 30% extension. But still, the more you go, the approximation increase infinitely. That's why we normally go to 20 to max 30% in terms of trend analysis. So as an analyst, we need to understand this, and we need to able to explain these things to an interviewer. These are all very intelligent questions. When are you in a final stage of getting the offer or selection process, they'll ask these tricky questions. So what's the difference between a statistical trend analysis and a fortune telling? Do you got that question and answers?
So according to you, you are saying that trend is like a future, right?
Right, you're predicting a future. It's a
So
prediction.
we just able to predict like 2 years future, not a, and that's not a confirm. That's approximately we can predict it
Exactly.
according to the last year, 3 year sales or to 5 year sales, right?
And the best example in any predictive analysis you can give is basically the fortune, I'll not say fortune telling, the prediction of season, the prediction of a day temperature, humidity, precipitations, and even pollution for that matters. That's how these
So we can say that we can do a trending on the behalf of the last 5 years sales, and we can give you a trend for that one for next 2 years. But that's only approximately. We're not sure about it.
Right. Again, when you heard the prediction, right? He says there
Mhm.
might be a rain, there might be heavy showers, there might be. They use this word "might be" because it's a predictive analysis. Again, if you have a data for last 8 years, I can 8 years on the same day. So if I'm trying to explain this, what you can say, how's May 29th looking for a given region. So what I have to do, I have to really understand the last 8 years progression for a given day, temperatures, humidity, wind movements, and all those other factors. They have quite a few factors, and that's why these guys have supercomputers at their disposal to do
Like a
this.
trending in every quarter, they have a different trends and different weather situation and everything, right?
Right, very rightly said. So this way they update their historical figures, plus they try to address the current situation also. So if there's
Mhm.
a, let's say in terms of Mumbai, right? We had heavy rains for a couple of days now, and today
Yeah.
it's the sun is coming, so it's really great. Means it's the rains have stopped. There was raining last night as well, but do we have the similar rain in last May? No. May was quite dry and hot. in Mumbai in last year and last to last year. I'm staying here, that's why I know these things. But how they can predict these things? They can predict because there are some wind movement with some low pressure, high pressure. I'm not very well with these, terminologies, but still, from the news, I gather these details. So they say
I
they
get your point.
for Mumbai, so there are lots of the clouds coming to Mumbai and they are pouring rain. So if the cloud density increases after a certain point, they are supposed to give you rains, heavy rains, and all those things, and that's how they predict. So there's a wind and then there's a rain, and this is how the progression happens. These progressions took place within a few hours or a few days for that matters, and that's how they can predict if there are rains today or not, and so on and so forth. And
I think
even
in a Power BI, we also do a forecasting process, right?
similar,
Within Power BI?
yes.
Yeah.
Every data analytical tool have some predictive analysis tool. Predictive analysis is a part of analysis, and we are going to learn some 10 odd analysis types. Predictive
Okay.
is the one of the most what I can say discussed about analysis even during
Mm-hmm.
interview. That's why I'm trying to stress this point. And as in business intelligence, we are building intelligence, right? We are predicting rains, we are predicting hot weather, we are predicting precipitation, and all those kind of scenarios there. So this is how
Mm-hmm.
we normally reach to a conclusive point or build this what I can say uh, informed decisions or well-informed decision. Are you with me, sir, madam?
Yep.
This is what that well-informed decisions are all about. And with the help of charts, graphs, or trends. So
Yeah.
how does graph work?
Yeah.
So you have last 8-year graph, and now you have next 1 year graph. And this is how the progression I can show it mathematical. But again, what math suggests you, these are again some theorems, some theories presented by scientists. You shouldn't go above and beyond 20, at the max 30%. Because as a human, we like to see our future, right? And that's
Yep.
how the fortune tellers, many people go to these fortune tellers. I'm not saying there's something bad in it, but there's too much prediction. That's why the approximation increase, the chances of righteousness reduces. So the efficiency overall. That's how these mathematics allow us to go to a certain limits, and after that we should stop ourselves. We should control us. Okay. Does that make sense? Could you able to explain this thing in your own word?
Yep.
Yeah, and this is really important questions. And these are the questions come at your lab whenever there's a decision of you are being selected or you are being selected for senior analyst or junior analyst and those kind of scenario. So that's why these are really important tricky questions. Okay, and we'll practice it for our mock interviews also. Please don't worry on that part. Okay, so this is
Okay.
all about trend analysis in the data visualization part. Now we have decision support. What is decision
Mhm.
support? Whatever you have decided, the number of options given to your senior has to be supported by some data. So how do you do it? So business intelligence provide business with the data and insight needed to make strategic or tactical decisions, leading to better performance and outcomes. Let's come back to our what you can say prediction, weather predictions, right? So how do
Mhm.
you suggest them? So this is what the data from last 8 year, and these are what the current scenario. Why Mumbai had rain for last 3 days, even in May? Well, it happened around 60 years back. I know because there was news anchor saying this. So 60 years back, there were similar situations. So we have very low pressure systems on these island called Mumbai, and there were lots of clouds get pulled from the seas, which basically deposited good amount of rains in those good old days, and that's how that scenario will evolve in Mumbai for next day, next to next day, and so on. So how you explain these things to the seniors? Why should we concentrate on this scenario, that scenario? Why should we concentrate on carrying an umbrella, carrying a raincoat? Because this is how the progression looks like to me. This is how the trend look like to me. So that's how I can basically build a decision support with the number of data I have, and where I'm going to be in the next hours or next years, next weeks, and so on and so forth. So the decision analyst, the decision which I'm supporting with my data, with all those visualized chart, graphs, trends, and all those things, give me a good decision support to explain to these senior audience, so that they can take a good decision. They can choose the best available options among the options available to them. So this is how we normally work with these business people to make them take a better decision day by day, because day by day we have more historical numbers with us. We are getting informed with a given domain, with a given challenges of this business, and we will be able to inform the decision in a progressive, more efficient way. Even the predictions have to be efficient in terms of number of data available, in the terms of days or months, or whatever you are predicting for. Then only you can predict for a bit more. So if you have 8 weeks of data, you can predict 1 week more. If you have 8 years of data, you might predict for a year. Or if you have 8 to 10 quarters of data, you might predict 1 quarter ahead of you. And that's how you can basically give the informed decision with the data, to take those decisions to a next level effectively, efficiently. Does that make sense?
Yep.
Again, explaining decision support is everybody's own way of explaining. So try to build a answer for this thing. How do you explain predictive analysis and future training difference, and decisions, building decision support for a given business meeting? So how do you do it? Try to write down an answer somewhere, and we might discuss this thing in our next session. Okay, so first, predictive analysis and future training difference. Second, how do you build decision support system after your analysis? These two questions. Okay, we'll discuss this thing in our next session. Are you with me, sir, madam?
Yeah.
Great. Now, when we talk about business analyst, right? Now,
Yeah.
business analyst, go ahead. Any questions, sir?
No. Ma'am, just
No,
say
no,
yes.
no,
Great.
no
Good.
questions.
But you understand these two questions, right?
Yes,
Yes.
yes, I did.
I'm basically telling you because you as a person, you are artist, right? And you have studied how these things work. Now you need to build your answer so that it won't look like theoretical answer. It should look more of a practical answer to the interviewer. So interviewer should believe like you have done in the past. That's why I'm telling you these things. So these are really, important homeworks which we have to work on. Okay, now let's come into the important thing, business analysis, and how it's different from the business intelligence. Here we are building intelligence. So what they say, business analysis is a part of business intelligence, where it's a multifaceted discipline which that involves examining data. So we are talking about data analysis, identifying business need. We are talking about requirements, and recommending solutions to improve organizational outcomes. Again, we are talking about ultimately enabling informed decision making here as well. So they are saying business analyst is almost at a level of business intelligence. That's why I say we can clearly say we can do data analysis, business analysis, as well as business intelligence. These are similar things. Theoretically, they walk on the same path, but the explanation differs at the end of the day. Wherever you're trying to explain business intelligence, you have to include enabling informed decision making. In terms of business analysts, you might have to explain them how we improve organizational decision making process, or by improving our decision support systems, and so on and so forth. So there's a bit of difference there, but still theoretically they walk on the same path. It bridges the gap between data analysis and decision making. Again, our data analysts also have some sort of decision making, but they say when it comes to business analysis, decision making is also a part of the business analyst, business intelligence outcome, helping organizations to make informed choices that align with their strategic goals. So here we are talking about business augmentation also. Try to remember these words, business augmentation. What it does, make informed choices that align with their strategic goals. So if I want to improve my business in, let's say, Midwest region, how do I do it? I'll try to study the region. I'll try to gather some historical data for a similar product and then try to align my product for that region in terms of aesthetics looks, in terms of packaging, in terms of more acceptability to the given market. These are the three-way marketing people normally talk about their regional targeting thing. You can also search on a Google how does marketing or sales people try to target a product to a given region, and there are a good number of blogs available, good number of papers available on the Google to basically on this topic, helping organizations and to make informed choices that align with their strategic goal. This is what the top businessmen do day by day. So they trying to build their business for a given region better, better acceptability, better aesthetics in terms of look and feel, and better delivery system. So you should have an efficient delivery system for a given region so that the product will reach the customers when it's fresh, when it's new, without least possible damage and so on. Does that make sense? Any questions so far?
No.
This looks a bit complicated. That's why I'm recording. So if you feel any challenges in understanding, please have a look at this recording also. I know even I say most of the time when it comes to business analyst, data analyst, or business intelligence, they are mostly walking on the same path. Only there's a bit of difference in terms of how you apply the process, how you evolve the process to the result of it. Data analysis might just give you a pivot table, graph, or chart, but when it comes to business intelligence, you might give them intelligent choices, and let's say 4 options to apply from these data what we have in hand to the next steps in terms of business, and next steps in terms of strategic goals, and so on. So that's why it's basically me as an interviewee. We need to build this answer by myself. So rather than talking more of theoretical, these should be more practical. And that's why I took a good amount of time on this business intelligence understanding. Still, if you have any questions, I'll be happy to answer your questions, or happy to discuss this thing even further in our next session. But right now, I'll move to the next slide. Okay. Does anybody have any question on this slide?
No.
Okay. Let me move.
No questions.
Thank you. Now I have given 2 images here. This depicts the overall business intelligence process in a most theoretical way. So here we talk about business matrices report. Matrices are basically a number collection. Let's say when you talk about employee efficiency, how do you calculate employee efficiency? His attendance predominantly. So is he coming regular, or is taking too many leaves? He or she, pardon me for that. Then their timings means the office in timing they are working actually on the system, means in the IT department on their computers. So you have the login, log out, the wallpaper start, wallpaper stop, and all these kind of timings you normally note on a Excel sheet or a text file for that matter, CVS file, and then you convert it to the Excel. I'm trying to understand. So during the last year, Ravindra entered office between morning 5:30 to 5:45. That's okay. Yeah, 3 days he have joined office after 6:30, but most of the days he came to office between morning 5:30 to 5:45. Okay, so normal his expectancy. Again, I'm going to the trend analysis figure. Ravindra Pande will enter office before 5:45 at any given time. This is my predicted analysis based on the business matrices report or business matrices data collection. Are you with me? Could you understand what I'm trying to say here?
Yep.
Okay. So this is how matrices are basically a number crunching game, number collection game from actual events. Okay. We can search for the even a dictionary definition of matrices, but overall in layman terminology, matrices are a number collection system for a given event. So if I calculate from my home to my office, how much gas I need for my car, okay, it's like 0.5 gallon a day. So 0.5 gallon for going, 0.5 gallon for coming. Simple example. Now
Yep.
someday this 0.5 might go to 0.6 because of traffic jams, but it won't go to 0.8 or 0.9 because I don't see those many challenges. So that's how I can predict. Normally, I have these many gallons of gas required for a given week, given month, and so on and so forth. So how do I did this? I did this because I have the matrices collected, the data collected for my travel from home to office and back, and so on. So this is what talks about business matrices report. Here they mostly talk about sales, target, sales not materialized, sales which are basically giving you better profit, giving you better throughput. Better throughput and better profits are different scenario. If you are selling a pen at $1 profit, that's your profit making formula. If you are selling 10,000 pen in a given month, that's your throughput formula. So if I reduce my profit by 50 cents, my sales will increase because then the customer finds the pen is more economical. It has some qualities, has some aesthetic and everything. But if I make my pen cheaper, it'll get more throughput. But is it efficient marketing or efficient selling when it comes to throughput versus profit? Again, it has to be collected by business matrices report. And then this information, this data has to be plotted somewhere, has to be stored somewhere, and then take the informative decision. This is a really good example of a pen selling in a given region with a certain profit and with a certain throughput. Because these two are very near and dear figures or very near and dear process for a businessman. So whenever you are discussing about how do you basically make an informed decision, so you can take this example and guide interviewer or guide your seniors on these type of scenarios. Okay, then we'll come to easy share information. Normally in all IT industry and nowadays even in hospitals and all, we have MIS, Management Information System. I think you all are heard of these things, MIS. Sai sir,
Yep.
you heard of MIS, right? Gurna ma'am, have you heard of MIS? Management Information
No,
System.
actually, yeah, I have heard of MIS. Yes,
Okay.
yes, yes.
Because every company has some numbers. They try to store day in day out in terms of attendance, in terms of walking into the office, because all these systems are electronically and enabled with this computer data collection mechanism. So what they do, they collect this information and they feed it to a software called MIS. And again, there are quite a few others things like your salaries, effective salary for a given month, and so on and so forth. So these type of informations are collected automatically by all these organizations, even be it an IT organizations or be it a garage, car repairing garage, be it a hospital, and so on and so forth. This is how IT enablement of a given a business happens. And this is how you collect this data, collect this information day by day. And this MIS basically shared across the department in case somebody needs to validate the decision support system. This MIS makes the management take better decision day by day. It's a part of enhanced decision making process. That's why they collect this data day in, day out. And that's how the data analytical process have been implemented for so long in any IT organizations or in any other organizations nowadays, which is basically part of our day-to-day life. But we don't normally categorically call it data analysis. It's a data analytical process. We do this decision making process with the help of MIS day in, day out. And that's why we share these data across department, and these departments can make their decision making process more effective, more aligned with the historical data, or the trend of the data, how it's moving. So let's say if I have office in Canada and if I have office in North America, let's say for the example thing, I have office in Calgary, which is a bit colder region of Canada, and I have office in Houston, Texas. Now I will try to understand how the days start in Calgary, how the days start in Houston, in terms of attendance, in terms of people coming early, being in the office for so long, their result of working in terms of employee efficiency and so on. So how do I compare these things? Again, for a given business owner, putting more employees at Calgary or Houston, that's what he's trying to decide. And that's how I need to give them an informed decision analysis process, data analysis process, so that he can decide better if they add 5 employees in Calgary, if they have 5 employees added in Houston. How does it differ in terms of salary, in terms of their outputs and so on and so forth? Again, it depends on the business, depends on uh, the regional weather challenges as well. But this is how we can put these figures to a given business owner, saying, okay, please put some more employees in Houston rather than in California. We might need both the offices for certain reason, for certain reason of the owners own, but still adding employees to work to get the maximum out of this output of these employees, it's make better sense to add these employee at a given office. And that's how this decisions making happens with the data available to me, and I can put this data on the table for a given senior HRVP or the CEO or something like that. So, and this is how the enhanced decision process making process works at a ground. Okay, now when it comes to uh, time-based analysis, quick real-time analysis. Here, what I'm trying to do, I'm trying to understand something like weather report. So how will be the weather tomorrow? How will do? I'll have a quick real-time analysis of the historical data and the current scenario as well, because there could be some exceptions hidden in the current scenario, like the rain in May in Mumbai. These are the basically a different scenario, or rather exceptional factors. But these things do happen in real life, and that's why I need a historical figure as well as current challenges. Fast review is basically observing this thing, and fast review more depends on the observer, the analyst, or it's more artistic approach to a given data analyst we talk about. And that's why they say fast review. The machine speed or the system speed doesn't make it fast, but the person working or person in control of observation of that data make it faster, because he or she can do it much more effectively depending upon his or her experience, his or her analytical efficiencies. That's how the fast review happens. And identifying selling opportunity, here they are specifically mentioned selling, because I need to understand the trend for a given region, trend for a given product, trend for a given adaptability of the given product for a given season as well. Some people, some products get sold much better in holiday season with the most of the discount price. Again, this discount pricing itself is a data analytical result of your shelf life, perishability, efficiency of storage, or challenges in storage, and so on and so forth. So there are these number of data to be analyzed to make sure how much discount I should do, to make sure how much sale I can achieve for a given region in terms of identifying sales opportunity if I start discounting something. Again, here I might get or retrieve more profit by more throughput. So if I reduce my pen price by 50 cents, if my sales increases in multifold, let's say twice the sales. I'm again here throwing you an example, which is not based on the actual data, but more of understanding. So if I reduce my pen price by 50 cents, and if my sales jump from 10,000 to 25,000, am I doing better? Am I doing bad? What do you think?
Can you repeat the question again?
Okay, sure. I'm selling 10,000 pen in a Midwest region. If I reduce my 10 pen price by 50 cents and my sales jumps to 25,000 pens per month for a Midwest region, am I doing better in current scenario or the older scenario? How do you calculate?
What was the older scenario?
Older scenario, I'm selling 10,000 pen at the price of let's say $11 a pen. Now, in a given Christmas time, I have reduced this pen price to $10.50, and my sales have exceeded 25,000 or reached the 25,000 sell mark for a given month.
So, so the new scenario is better, no? It's more
Right,
profitable.
right. But again, if the sales figures are less than 15,000, my older scenarios are better, right? Are you?
Right, yeah.
So this
Yeah.
way, I have to analyze the selling opportunity or trying to understand how much discount I have to give to achieve more throughput. Because
So there is one more question in regarding this one, right? You gave the discount of 50 cents per pen, right?
right,
And what is the target for the company to achieving the quantities of pen or the amounts totally?
you tell me. See, earning is my aim of business, right? Any business, why
Yeah.
did you want to earn? Now, if I'm
Mhm.
getting more revenue, rather more profit by reducing the price, then that'll be better scenario, right? Because I'm earning more profit.
Yeah, but if we goes to if we are earning more profit,
Uh-huh.
but if we see about the discount part, we are
Uh-huh.
getting like every piece like $12,500 for total benefit from that. We are
Uh-huh.
getting discount after that. As we say that we earn just 2 lakh something, 2,50,000 something
Right,
after all discounts,
right.
and
Now
regular
here,
sale is like
now
150 or something.
yes, you have to calculate the profitability rather than the throughput of the business. Of course, the throughput will go up, but if you are doing just the 15,000 sell out of 10,000 and your reduction of profit in, let's say 50 cents per pen, then you're basically at a loss. You're
Yeah.
building brand, but that's a long term scenario. Again, the brand value increase I have not considered here, but still, I'm just trying to make a point. Let's take a simpler example. I have, I have to sell, let's say, a dozen of egg. Okay, I'm selling an egg, $1 a egg. If I sell dozen egg, I'll earn $12.
Mhm.
If I sell 15 eggs, I'll earn $15. But if I reduced the price by let's say 50 cents, and if I sell 25 eggs, okay. No, again, the there's a lot of complexion in terms of manufacturing cost and all those things as well.
Yep.
But still, if you take it flat, means for our thought process, we are analyzing data, right? And we are trying to understand how the cell will be effective or how the organization will be profitable if you increase sale. Of course, whenever you give discount, the sale will increase, but the profitability will decrease because
Yeah.
from the profit margin, you are taking a junk out because the
Mhm.
manufacturing cost is whatever I have manufactured. And that's already consumed, right?
Yeah, if we say that you are regarding about the inks, we purchase it at 20 cents per ink and we're selling at
Hello.
50 cents after all discounted, right? So we are just earning 30 cents per a bottle for ink. So
Right.
if we sells like 25 bottles, so we just get like $7.50.
Right. Now, if we
And rather than that one, we are selling on $1 and 15 bottles. We are getting more profit in that one.
exactly. So that's how this decision or informed decision has to be, tell to your superiors. We can't give that much profit discount. So I need to reduce that discount to a level where I'll achieve that profitability with increased sale. Increased sale is always good because you are building brand, right? If you sell more, the market reach is increasing. So there are these, what you can say, direct strategy, indirect strategies for the sales and all. it's again a different, learning altogether.
This
But
one I saw in a Costco. Like if you're gonna buy a blueberry,
right.
because I buy the blueberry short box, it's just like cost of $2. But
Right.
now they extended to a big box and its cost is $5.
Uh, Again, these
And
are
small
all.
box is out from the market.
Right. This is how they do it because in a given blueberries, if there's a let's say 5% decay, right, happens, right, because it's a perishable thing, and so on and so forth. So there are lots of other factors to be considered at a given point of time. You got the gist of it, right? How do you make
Got
a
it.
so that's more important. Again, this is again the way you could explain it to the interviewer or explain it to your dignitary about the informed decisions and how do you put it before them. This is an art. This is why we need a non-automated process or a human intervention in understanding all these challenges than just telling it point A to point B progression. Okay, and that's how we need to present ourselves. That's how we need to basically reach to a level where we can make this more understanding to the interviewer to start with. Okay, now here we are trying to analyze the process. So business intelligence refers to a collection. So we are basically working on a data warehouse, might be in a SAP or business works or HANA or something like that. Then how do we prepare? We integrate, enrich the content, meaning or we clean the data. It's again a data analytical process. We clean, we prepare the data, we process the data, we modulate the data, and then we visualize the data. So we build some report, we analyze this thing on a collected data, retrieved data. And then these are the next steps, like focus on increasing operative business processes, optimization in addition of strategic and tactical decision support system. We just seen quite a good number of examples here today. Then the goal is always directly or indirectly improve business outcomes or performance for a given company, for a given business. Is that is that easy enough to understand for you right now?
Yep.
Yeah, you might get a question in the interview. Why do we do business analysis? Why do we do data analysis? Why do you basically create a business intelligence report and all those things? You might use this slide for that answer, preparation of that answer, so that we are well prepared for the interview, well prepared for the interview process one step at a time. Okay, let's move. Okay, now okay, we are basically going to the hands up. Let's stop here and let's try to understand the interview questions which we had discussed last time. Tell me about yourself. Have you worked on that questions, sir, madam?
No, actually, I have not worked on any of those questions, to be honest.
No, no
But
problem.
can you explain us why how we have to do that so we can?
I've explained, but I'll do again. No problem, no problem. Tell me
Mhm.
about, if somebody asks you, tell me about yourself. This is the most first questions came to or get thrown at the interview. So the interviewer might ask, "Hey Ravindra, could you please tell me about yourself?" After all those pleasantries, we have good evening, good afternoon, and whatnot. So he'll ask, "Please tell me about yourself." So those guys will have your profile in front of them. Don't think like they don't have. They will have, and they might have gone through it. Some might go in depth, some might not have that much time. Most of the time they will have a look at your profile for a minute or two, not more than that, so they'll get a gist of it. So whatever you have basically put it in terms of objective, in terms of bold and all, they'll read it and they'll basically ask you this question to understand from you how you are fit to a given job description. So I need to walk from what I am at to where I want based on the job description. So I need to prepare my answer based on the job description. So if job description says I need a data analyst with a 3 years of experience with some tools like Excel or Google Sheet or something like that, I need to prepare for that thing. So what I'll say, yes, definitely, sir. I'm Ravindra Pande. I'm staying at 6143 St. Louis University City, and I've been working with such and such company for so many years, working in data analytical process, with the use of tools like Excel, Google Sheets, and there are, you can mention whatever tools you are comfortable in. And here we are working closely with such and such, a domain with such and such, people to help them to make these, informed decisions for their business on a day-to-day life. So my typical day will be receiving a data or retrieving a data from multiple database, collecting that data, cleaning the data, aligning the data, or building a data model for a given data analytical process, run the data analytical process in terms of trying to visualize how that data supports the decision, what type of options do I have for a given, uh, decision making process, put it to our, audience and guide them for that decision making process with the data which we have studied, which we have at our disposal at that point. And this is how the overall, helping the business grow is a, I think, most important thing I do for in a given, given executions or given workplace, right? And this is what I can say, simplest possible terms. Let's say 5 or 7 sentences at the most, 1 or 1.5 minutes to 2 minutes. That's how I need to explain in terms of tell me about yourself and walk towards the job description from whatever you are doing. He is not want to understand from you if you like cricket, if you like baseball, or if you like football and all. The interviewer is there with you to understand this is what I need, and if this person has those, what you can say, uh, traits or enablement of a given tools to do these, get this job done at a given place, as simple as that. So what I need to make sure, I need to make sure that interviewer understands your, candidature fitment for the given job description. Does that make sense?
Yes.
An interview is an obstacle.
Yeah.
Interview is an obstacles to be cleared. Plus, it's a marketing tool for you. Believe me, you're not trying to, pose it as a more brilliant or a more knowledgeable or more scientist than the interviewee, but you're trying to make sure you're fit for the need, and it should adopt to the tools and technology or the environment for that job needed for the job to start with. So we are targeting ourselves, or we are making sure we are very much, what you can say, in fitment of the job description you shared with me. And in addition, if the interviewer asks for a tool, you might say, yeah, I know it. I think I have, do a bit of workshop on that tool. But right now, I couldn't, give the exact visualization before me because I have not used that tool for last 6 months, 7 months. I might need to brush that skill. Saying this is much simpler than no, I don't know about this tool. And again, when you say this, I have not used that tool for last 6 months, it means you're a bit of out of touch, which is understandable. But if you say if you don't heard that tool, that's a kind of, really no go for the interview, because interview might think, "Ki boss, I'm using this tool and this guy says he's never seen this tool or he don't know about this tool." That's the kind of really, big obstacle creation for you for the interview selection process. That's why I need to make sure will read the job description in depth before sitting for the interview. Uh, 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 are you understanding what I'm trying to say here?
Yes.
Okay, again,
Yes.
uh,
Yeah.
interview is a marketing tool to clear obstruction, not to tell the interviewer like you are very brilliant, you are very, scientific in nature and blah blah things. No, please remove yourself from the from that angle and try to build your answers in a way to the fitment to the need, and trying to look it as an obstacle of me joining that company. Every interview, be it HR interview or technical interview, I need to work out my way. Even I need to learn rather the way we collect data, right? Here I need to collect data, what they are looking for. Am I the right fit? Or how do that person will feel that you are the right fit? That's what I need to acquire in terms of decision making. Suppose his decision, I'm helping him to support his decision in the most fit candidate for a given need. And that's what they want. In North America, that's the beauty of interviewing process. They don't really want to grill you unnecessarily. If they make a decision, they'll make a decision in the first 5 minutes, and the interview at the most last for the 15 minutes. That's the simplest way in North America. In It's not like the other part of the world, like they are keep grilling you for hours together and then try to make their point like they are more brilliant than you. You can clearly say you're more brilliant than me if you want to say in the most diplomatic possible word, but still we need to understand for myself or as an analyst, like what I'm doing here, what is my aim, and start walking towards that rather than unnecessarily bringing, if that guy say you're wrong, you're right. No, no, okay. If he or she says you're wrong, yeah, I'm sorry. I think, I need to learn more and so on and so forth. Let's get ahead of that obstacle. It's just an obstacle. It's not, a very big crucial moment to prove yourself for something. No. And that's what the, most human take it like, I need to prove myself like I'm better at this and better at, no, 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 no. It's an obstacle to clear and to show the interviewer you are best fit for the given job description. Does that make sense, sir, madam?
Yes. Yes, it does. Yeah.
And so don't feel bad if the interviewer say you're wrong or you're right, whatever it may be. Take it as an okay, yeah, yeah, somebody's commenting on your, clothes, or somebody's commenting on the way you walk and all. It happens in life. There are many people who try to discourage you, who try to show them they are better than you. Let them with that. And we don't have to really worry about that because you might not meet that interviewer throughout your life. And these things do happen in real life because that might be an HR person or a team lead for some other project, distant project, who's trying to grill you technically, trying to check out. Like if you used Excel, if you know what you mean by pivot tables, if you know what you mean by graph, how to create graph in Office 365, and so on and so forth. As simple as that. If you answer his questions with the least possible detail. Why least? Because I don't to be on keep giving interview for hours together. I want to complete this interview within 15-20 minutes, and that's how I need to prepare. And how do you start with? Tell me about yourself. Here you're trying to portray you are the best candidate for the given job. As simple as that. Matter ends. Nothing more. I don't want to tell you about like how I did bachelors in computers, how I did PhD in optical science and blah blah thing. No, 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 no. I want that job. I want to get started as early as possible, and you start paying me for whatever I do. As simple as that. That's the most important step or most important thought. You should take it to your mind when you are giving interview. It's an obstacle. Why obstacle? Because that's how I want to overcome it. I have to overcome it. Unless and until I overcome this interview, I will not go to the next step. And this is how we normally progress. This is how we need to stick to the well-informed data decisions. Are you with me, sir, madam?
Yep.
Yeah. So that's how we need to prepare. So please
Yeah.
work on this thing, and we'll definitely discuss this thing in our next session. Tell me about yourself. This can be asked in many different way, and you might have gone through quite a good number of interviews to know those things. I'll not harp about how the interviewer asked, tell me about yourself, but more let's try to build an answer to tell me about yourself. Let me give you a JD, okay, so that you can work on a baseline. I'll give you a job description or a requirement of a data
That's
analyst.
good. Yeah, I was going to ask you. That would be better if you could do that. Yes.
Sure, sir. I'm doing this thing for quite a good number of years, ma'am. So I can help you.
Yes.
And this is really important.
Yes, thank you.
You'll have a baseline and you can be able to talk about, particular tools and so on and so forth. And there, believe me, in every job description, there'll be a tool which you might not have heard of. This happens. So what you do, whenever you get the JD, go to Google, search for that tool, what that tool does, what the screen look like, that's more than enough. Just spend a minute or two on that. And okay, let's say you're not work on Google Sheet. And if you have a look at Google Sheet, might be a YouTube video. You can go learn Google Sheet, or Google Sheet beginners tutorial on YouTube, and you'll get hundreds of video on any topic. Believe me, and that's how even I work. So you have a look at a minute or two, and then you'll get an idea what that tool does. So do you have to master each and every tool in the world? No. You just need to make sure that interviewer believes you. You know the tool. You might have not used it today, yesterday, 1 month down the line, or 1 month before, but you know the tool, and you know how it looks early. It start with a click. It has a this menu and that menu and blah 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 things. If you know the aesthetic of a tool is more than enough. If you know the art of analytics, you can explain the steps very easiest form of scenario. And believe me, normally the interviewer won't ask, so where this menu resides. Believe me, most of the Indians do ask, but otherwise normally people who are more inclined to understand your thought process rather than which button you click. Believe me, if I'm an interviewer and if I know my work, I'll not go and ask you where that button resides. And these things do happen in an interview, so we need to make sure if somebody asks like that, you might tell him or her, yes, sir, I believe it should be in this menu. But nowadays, softwares are changing like left and right, so that they might have shifted this button or menu, might change the color and blah blah things. It's a real answer, believe me. You're not saying anything, difficult. You're not saying you don't know it. There was this menu, and this should be the button in that menu. But still, they might have changed it. Whenever we start working with the current version, that menu item might be fall on a different label, different menus, and so on. So that's how I need to open, and I need to make sure I am walking towards the target of clearing the obstacles and showing I'm the best fit for the job. As simple as that. These two aims, if you really, work on these things, you don't have to really, know all those, other flora and fauna around it. You know the data analytical process now, you know the business analytical process now, and we did the business intelligence as well today. Next, here we are going to understand a couple of different types of analysis, so that if somebody asks what predictive analysis does, what trend analysis does, you could be able to explain them as easy as possible. So that's how we're going to walk here. Okay, any questions for me right now?
Nothing from my side.
Yes. Okay, so let's stop here today, and we'll
Okay.
progress in our next say. I'll share you a JD. Okay, and please make
Okay.
answer for those two questions. Okay, that we'll discuss it.
So
Okay.
And
you
next,
have to check the homework too.
come again, sir.
You have to check the homework too.
Check them. It's try to build an answer for those two
No,
questions,
no,
right?
no, 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 no.
Uh,
Which homework you gave it on last Friday?
oh yeah. Oh, what I give? Sorry. Uh-huh. What
Ma'am
I?
is on off on Monday, so you have to check her homework.
Okay, yes. Pardon me.
If you have any query of that one.
Come again, sir.
If she have any query for she did it or no, so you can check her. So because you gave the homework to do sales and percentage discount column to make the graphic chart in that one.
Okay, I believe you showed me on Monday, right? Ma'am,
I show you.
have you got a time to work on that bonus salary comparison in that employee data sheet, ma'am?
Yes, I will do it and I'll submit it by Friday.
No, you don't have to submit it. You can show it basically. Don't worry. And yes,
Okay.
basically for our understanding at how I present, right? So it's more of visualization,
Yes.
the whole data analysis, so I can understand. And we are all
Right.
professional, so and please pardon me, I forget these things. So please remember, please make me, remember like
Right.
whatever I forgot and all. And pardon me for that. I'm feel sorry for that. And this thing happens with me. That's a problem with my, I think, personality. So please guide me in case if I forgot something. Okay, I'll not feel bad about that. See, we are working
That's
to.
fine, sir. That's why I remind you. So because if ma'am have any query, so she can ask about it.
Sure. So please remind me in the next session as well, and we'll work on that as well. Okay.
Okay. So
Okay.
you're gonna send us
Sounds
JD
good.
right
Thank
now
you.
or tomorrow?
Yes, I'll send you in few minutes, I believe. And then those two questions. These are the three things we need to do in the next session.
Mhm. Okay,
Okay.
that's fine.
Thank you. Thanks a
Thank
lot.
you, sir. Have a
Okay,
good day.
thank you so much.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Good night, sir.
Have a good day.
Bye.